Somebody said to me recently, so Keith, why do people like your show? I said, because of me. Yeah, true story. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. There you go, Jimmy. I changed the hook. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're just
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that it?
What is shaking? What is shaking? It's been officially 8 years. I've been alcohol-free, baby. I haven't had a drink in over 8 years. Yeah. I have not touched a sip of alcohol, and I got no judgment on those of you that do. Zero judgment. I made a decision 8 years ago, and I'm proud to talk about it today. And hey, we did have a guest coming up this morning, but I woke up this morning to the old, I can't figure it out. Okay, see you later, pal. Listen, we're diving into the hidden genetics of gout. Yeah, I love that word, Johnny. Gout. What the hell is gout? Yeah, so for all my guys that are battling gout, we're going to talk about it this morning as well. Hey, brace yourselves. We got a Marine we're talking about who today did 10,001 pull-ups in a single day, and his name's not Jon Andersen. And we got a guy who ate 10,000 Big Macs, and his name's also not Jon Andersen either. And yeah, we also got Jimmy on the buttons. We got Melissa behind the scenes. We don't have Marty here today, but we got Johnny Flores joining us in the second hour here today. We're talking booze-free lifestyle. We're bringing you guys up to speed on some Winnipeg Jets playoff updates. Yep, and secret habits that are secretly aging your brains. And guys, if we have some time, we're going to talk about anorgasmia. Guys, sometimes we are unable to finish. We are unable to empty the clip, as Johnny likes to say. And we're going to talk about the hidden epidemic of male anorgasmia. When we're going at it, we're all beating the drum, we're banging off the sides, and it's just nothing's coming out. Like, what the hell? It's just not working. It's just not working. Remember, guys, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. This is an R-rated experience for the children, so either invite the kids out of the room or introduce them to the sultry sounds of life adult conversation with Keith Bilous, Jon Andersen, producer Jimmy, and the rest of the gang here at Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, your morning accountability partner, the only morning show to help you guys get your ass out of bed and consider not hitting the snooze button. Guys, you hit the snooze, you're 9 minutes behind. Me and Johnny, who haven't. We haven't hit the snooze button forever. Jimmy, speaking of that guy named John, the guy with the red hat on, the guy over there who's celebrating Cinco de Mayo, let's bring in Mr. Jon Andersen today into the lab. What's going on, Mr. Johnny?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm well. I'm passionately sweating right now because of my workout this morning, but I'm good, man. I'm happy. I'm on this side of the earth. It's a sunny day today. I'm in good spirits. I'm hanging out with my brother here for an hour and a half this morning. Life's actually pretty good.
You say the side of the earth. What's the other side?
The other side's under the ground, as my dad would say.
That's what I thought you were saying.
How's it going? How's it going, Dad? Well, I got up on this side of the earth. I'm like, oh, that's a good answer. He's 82, and he lives for life every single day, right? He's just chasing that. Just like your mom, I learned yesterday, right?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Well, check this out.
Hold on. Good morning, Roof. We see you there, super ready for the booze-free lifestyle discussion. Yes, Matthew Roof, also best decision ever made. We're just giving it all up. I agree with you, Matt. We're going to talk about it later on in the show here. What's shaking, Johnny? What were you going to say? Sorry?
Kiki ate another piece of rat poison.
Dude, what the hell? I mean, she must love it.
Like, I mean, she eats just about anything.
Yeah.
Like a little piggy. Yeah. I mean, it was like, you can't truly verify did she eat it, but I found in the corner of her mouth, she dug a hole. So I was like, fuck, she dug a hole. She's going after another piece of that shit.
Yeah.
And then I found a little piece of the color of that green in the corner of her mouth. So, God damn it. So it called me that. He's like, so get her in here. We got to fill her stomach with charcoal. so because it stops the absorption.
Yes,
you know?
yeah, I'm familiar with
And
it.
they
Yeah,
gave her another vitamin K shot. They're like, this vitamin K can get toxic, so you got to keep her away from this shit. I'm
dude.
like, fuck. Excuse my language. Oh, dude, crazy.
Don't excuse your language. Don't change your behavior. Yeah,
it just fucking melts poor Terry. I mean, and I say melt like emotionally melts her. Like when we got back, she's like, honey, I just need to go read for like 3 or 4 hours. She just needed to completely unplug. She just it so messed her up. I mean, it messed me up too, but anyway. So we basically have a different protocol for the dogs here for the last few days that we're here to make sure this doesn't happen again.
No kidding. Good morning, Debug Gaming. You're hanging out with Keith and Johnny here, Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends, the only morning show, the live morning show for men. We get up and get after it every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time. What's going on, Debug? Where are you joining myself and Johnny from today? I'm up here in Canada. Johnny's down here in the south of the United States. Johnny, we talk about our animals, and I know you love your dogs like I do. And I will confess to you, I took the little Palm yesterday to get her hair done. She goes to get her hair done every few weeks. And brother, I got to tell you, man, I drop her off and she whines. My eyes get all moist, get all sad. And listen, I know she's fine. Everything's great. I get emotional when I leave my dog and she's crying for her dad. I just do, brother. I just do.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
because it's a creature you love that's making a sound.
Yes,
shows some sort of emotional discomfort, and it's easier for me to watch. I mean, for me personally, and I would say many people would agree with this. It's easier to deal with physical pain than emotional pain.
Yes, and I would say, brother, I think it's easier dealing with human pain because you can communicate with them than with your animal who can't communicate back to you. Where, for example, Kiki's suffering, maybe having some issues inside, and you're anticipating and you're reading symptoms and you're delivering.
The crazy thing, dude, is that she doesn't have a clue. I mean, literally, dude. That's like the worst part about it. It's like it's like a kid. Have you ever seen like a kid like, God, I'm trying to think of a situation, but like you see a kid that like just completely smashes himself and somehow doesn't know that he hurt himself, and he just
I do.
It just didn't register the severity of the situation, didn't quite, because when a kid hurts, let's just say, like, perfect example, my youngest Jaden, we were really big on when something would happen, we wouldn't react, like, because if something happens to a kid, you go, oh my God, are you okay? They're going to give you that back. They're going to start crying.
Yes.
So, dude, there's this at our old house up in the Bay. There was a hot tub. It built into the deck, and there was a trap door. Well, I had the trap door open as I was doing some of the hot tub. It's probably 4 feet down to the ground. Somehow, just completely backed into that hole and just fell into that hole. Boom, on her back. And I was like, I see her go in that hole, and I was like, holy shit. So I go running over there. But then before I looked over, I was like, hey, kiddo. And she's down there. She's like, hi, Dad. No idea that could have been like terrible. That's Kiki, dude. She's like, Terry's looking at her going, you could die from this. She's running around eating leaves off the ground.
Yeah, just clueless, just clueless. I love it. Hey, yesterday or the day before, we talked about a dude that did 10,000 push-ups, was it, or 1,000 was it? Yes, yeah. Remember, it was 10,000.
Some crazy thing, and it was like he got called for not having good form, so it wasn't just banging him out. Yeah.
So believe it or not, there's a guy. You might have heard my opener here. I found a guy. His name's Truett Haynes. Johnny, on February 1st, 2024, starting at 11 a.m., this guy did 10,001 pull-ups in 24 hours.
I think who, what's his name?
David
runner. Yeah, doesn't he done some crazy shit like that too? Didn't he have the record? And this guy take it away?
So too. That's what got me interested in this one here. But this guy here, so this guy now has the title, driven to reclaim the title. Haynes undertook 6 months of intensive preparation, including daily pull-up routines. Over 6 months, he did over 120,000 pull-ups. so that he was able to train to achieve 10,001 pull-ups in 24 hours. Like, brother, what do you think the lesson is here?
I mean, the first thing I'm thinking about is that people don't understand when you do something like this. His hands would just doing that for 24 hours. His hands would be swollen and covered with like nasty blisters. You know, like I actually put a picture of my hand up after I did that. That was one set of power cleans, 100 kilos, 220 pounds for 101 reps.
Yeah,
which probably took me, I don't know, wasn't that. I mean, it's a long time it felt, but it was not 24 hours. It was one set. It's probably 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know. That was my hand after that type of abuse for 10 minutes. Can you imagine doing something like that for 24 hours?
I can't. No, I can't. You know,
and keep in mind, 100 kilos, 220, that's less than my body weight.
Yes.
Right. So when you're hanging off of a goddamn pull-up bar, it's even more stress on your hands.
You know what's incredible too, and I've talked about this you before. I've talked about the power of the 2.5 pounds, that little plate that can just stop your whole day. You know, you're crushing 300, you put 2.5 on each side. Okay, I can't do 305. Use that as a metaphor. Put it over here. I feel like it's the same thing with our what's the word I'm looking for? Our appendages. You hurt your little toe, or you hurt your toes on your feet, or you hurt your fingers on your hand, and there's such little appendages. But yet the impact that they can potentially have on your overall body performance is incredible, isn't it? Like you fucking bust your toe or knock your little toe and you're trying to do something significant in the gym and this little fucking toe is not working for you. That whole toe can wreck your whole world, Johnny.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, you even like a hangnail or something like that.
Yes.
You get infected. It's like, I mean, a couple different times I've actually dropped shit on my feet and like my big toenail has come off.
Yes.
Right. And that first little phase before it comes off is brutal.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's the point like you're talking about. It's like you just don't realize, you know, like not being able to put on a shoe, not being able to do this, not being able to do that, you know, because the thing is just so excruciating. You have to just wait for it to kind of pass by.
I bring it up because we on this show talk about mental resilience. We talk about overcoming obstacles. We talk about powering through. We talk about showing up, you know, our the pillars of our conversation. And when I think about the Marine who does 10,001 pull-ups, and I come back to what you said, imagine his hands, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like,
that's what people aren't imagining.
Yeah.
You're hitting it on the head, dude. It's that like, little appendage that he's not doing anything with those hands for probably 10 days.
Yeah, like there could be one little callus on his hand that's just like this wrecking the whole thing. And what I'm getting at, Johnny, is that everybody's thinking about the 10,000, the 24 hours, everything else, but there's something on his hand that you and I can't see that's actually mentally fucking him up. That to me, that's fascinating to me in many ways.
Well, you totally. And keep in mind, I'm sure we could find some footage of this of people that have done this.
Yeah,
but his hands, it's going to be multiple blisters. But his hands are going to look like they got elephantitis. They're going to be so fucking swollen. Like his fingers are going to be fucking fat, like probably 50% bigger because the body's sending so much fucking fluid in there trying to heal what's going on. And they're just, the whole things are just look like fucking big bear claws and all swollen and red. And, you know, God knows how many places it broke the skin with blisters that are breaking.
Yes.
You know,
this to me, though, is another example. Again, talk about it here on the show. Extraordinary achievements. They require super discipline, super prepared. And the last comment I will make on this is, again, we've talked about this before. What's the worst thing that's going to happen to him? He's not going to die. Okay, so he can't use his hands for a week. He can't, you know, and again, it's one of those situations where we're like, oh, I can't, what's going to happen to me? You're not going to die. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give it a shot.
You know, that's a really good, check this out, brother. You're bringing up a really good point. We never talked about this before. Yeah. So obviously, what's the worst? He's not going to die. His hands will be fucking swollen up. He might have to try again because he didn't get the record.
Exactly.
It's the worst possible case scenario.
Yes.
But, you know, so our bodies are this is the way I look at it. Our bodies are like a vehicle, right?
Yes.
And you got to take care of your vehicle so that you can drive it for the duration of your life, you know,
absolutely
90 years. But when my life is over, I want my vehicle to be completely used up. I don't want my vehicle to be with lots of mileage left, because I don't believe that we were given these bodies by the universe for us to, I mean, we're supposed to care for them, but we're not supposed to, we're supposed to use it. It's the part of us that it's the transport device.
Yes. Yes.
So so one of the things that I tell people, if you're trying to, I mean, care for yourself, yes, but don't keep yourself so protected that you're not actually using your vehicle. Your vehicle's made for you to go and test life and enjoy life. You know, put it in 4-wheel drive, get outside the fucking lines. You know, when I die, I want my shit to be just fucking completely used up.
Oh, I love this. I'm leaning into this one because I got something to say to you. I had a grandmother, and I
love it. I love the excitement, dude. I
had some family members. I go to the house, and all the couches are still wrapped in plastic.
Perfect example.
I want
you're gonna fucking will the couches to the next generation, for Christ's sake. What are you doing?
$1,000 in couches, and you left them wrapped so that you can resell them for $6,000 one day. Fuck that, man! I'm sitting on the couch and I'm putting my socks
on the fucking couch. 100%, dude. Sit on the fucking couch.
If I own something, I'm using it. Yes, I'm respecting, I'm taking care of it, but I'm using it. I'm not saving a fucking trophy to have there. And it's funny because I know a lot of people who subscribe to the different mindset, which is, well, no. What are you saving it for, man? Like, fuck, use it. You're living.
Well, real quick, brother, let me just have some fun with a little challenge of that.
Yeah.
As someone, your friend, someone who wants to put you on the spot for what you just said.
Yeah.
That's your car that never gets uncovered.
Yes. You mean my orange one?
Oh, the Tesla, the one that's the Roadster that you're just letting sit there and you're not using.
No, it's still sitting there because I need a battery for it. And there's a lot of effort that goes into putting battery into. That's the true story, actually. It's like, there's plenty of effort so the car needs a new battery. For it to get a battery into it, I got to ship it down to Arizona. I got to get it up.
I didn't know that part of the story. I just thought it was sitting in the garage.
There's a lot of hustle that has to go get that. So it's like you walking out into the garage, looking at the G-Wagon, and you're like, oh fuck, man! In order for me to drive it, I got to do this. Then you turn around, walk back out of the garage, and you go, I'll deal with it another day. I'm that guy. I'm kind of procrastinating on that at the moment, to be honest with you.
No, and that's okay. It's just not like you're sitting around on your ass doing nothing.
No.
But on that level, brother, we get people all the time. You know, like people say, well, God, you know, you've got these. You know, is G-Wagon, is G63 or a 911 really a everyday commuter car? Well, number one, we don't commute, but number two, we buy this nice shit because we like it and we want to use it.
Yes.
And is there gonna be more miles on the vehicle? Yeah. At some point, will we need to change it in for another one? Yeah. But this is fucking part of, you know, you bust your ass, you create some fruit from your labor.
Yes.
Enjoy the fucking fruit, for Christ's sake. Don't just put it like, you know, don't wrap it in plastic and fucking try to preserve it as long as you can, you know, fuck.
Man, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, let's do this. So you're going to step out for a break. We'll do the accountability check-in. Let's come back. I found somebody I'm going to share with you who's been, so actually Jimmy threw something on the table here. We're going to have some fun with it. So Johnny's going to step away for a quick little break. We're going to do the accountability check-in and keep rocking and rolling this morning on Mornings in the Labs, Keith and Friends. It's Friday. Big Jet game tonight, Roof. Yep. 7 o'clock Central Time, Winnipeg Place, St. Louis. I'm apparently dating the show right now. Yeah, it's Friday, May 2nd. So the evergreen content of today is being dated very rapidly. The Jets are playing St. Louis. We're going to get after. We're going to beat them. We're going to go to game 7. No, you guys can't go to game 7. I got a busy Sunday. I got dance recitals. I got my daughter's first communion. I got a lunch thing going on. So my friends in the Jets, you got to win because I can't watch you on Sunday. All right, listen, you can't expect the world to accept you if you're still rejecting yourself. Nope. I used to wait around for that proof when I was good enough. Deep down, I looked in the mirror. I hadn't even accepted myself because every time someone praised me, I'd brush it off. Every time, except yesterday. So, Keith, why do people tune into your show? Oh, because of me and Johnny. She's like, yeah, well, yeah, true story. But every time we hit a win, we downplayed. It wasn't humility. No, it's actually frankly full of humility. It was self-rejection in disguise. And here's what I learned. If you keep rejecting the man in the mirror, no amount of applause will ever be enough. Real confidence doesn't start on stage. It starts when no one's looking. the constant message that myself and John perpetuate daily on this show. We hang out with you guys for an hour to 2 hours every single day. But what you don't see is the 22 to 23 hours every single day that gets into getting us here every single day. You know, it's when you look in the mirror and you finally say, I accept this version of me. Right, Matthew Roof? Flaws and all. That's when you know you're moving forward. That's when the game changes. Not because the world gave you a standing ovation. Nah, fuck, I've had plenty of those. Empty. So I invite you to try this today. Stop trash talking yourself. Own your progress. Be kind. And quit chasing external proof of internal worth. Yeah, you heard me. Quit chasing that external proof of the internal worth. You want acceptance? Boys, it starts with you. It starts with your own mirror. Why do I tell you that? Because I tell myself this every single day. And I'm reminding you to offer yourself the same acceptance this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Period. Boom. All right. Yes, buy and build playgrounds, not museums. You know, Maddie, that's exactly it, man. I fucking love that. Yes. I know a lot of people that build museums, and I sit back curiously going, why are we building a museum? Yeah, that's a true story there. All right here. Guys, here's something. We talked about this before, but I'm just going to start the conversation here. Because have you ever wondered why some people stay mentally sharp old age while others experience cognitive decline? Well, I got 6 everyday habits that neurologists warn are silently aging your brain, habits you might be engaging in right now, guys. And these habits are aging your brain, as literally as simple as this. And many of what we're going to talk about, we talked about it before. But again, the goal of this show is to create constant daily awareness. So I'm hoping that if it's something that you hear myself or Johnny say, you're going to go, oh, yeah, and maybe you'll make a different decision throughout the day. So number 1 on our list here, guys, is frankly the sedentary lifestyle. Extended periods of sitting down reduce blood flow and oxygen to your brain, increasing dementia risks. Johnny, talk about sitting too long, my friend, and give somebody a reason to get up. And after you respond to that, I got something for you I was working on last night based on the conversation you and I had a couple weeks ago, and I think you're going to fucking love it. Talk about sedentary lifestyle.
Well, here's the thing. I think what's misunderstood the most is people are sedentary. Like, I'm so tired. Yeah. You know, I don't want to go for a walk. I'm tired. Well, it's very counterintuitive because that walk will get your blood flow.
Weird shit. And I'm tired. What's that? Like, really?
Well, here's the thing. What people are not understanding is they think that they believe what they're saying.
They're not fucking tired.
Because they've not real. Well, here's the thing. Once you go for that walk, you start to move, your blood starts to circulate. You feel better. You have more energy. The reason that you're sitting so long and you feel like you do is because your body's at like this really low idle.
Yes.
Right. So when you go for a walk and get your RPMs up, your brain becomes more clear. You feel more energized. Don't think of an energy exertion. Think about you're raising your RPM, which then makes you perform and feel better.
Yes.
Like a car. You can't sit there at an idle and expect that you're going to be ripping down the road. You got to raise the RPMs.
Great analogy. So guys, get up and get moved. There's no, in 2025, with the knowledge and information we have, there's no reason to live a sedentary lifestyle. There's actually no reason at all. Like there's no fucking reason. Zero. There's no reason. Number 2, chronic stress. Constant stress elevates cortisol, harming the hippocampus, critical for memory. Guys, find ways to lower that cortisol. Johnny, give somebody a hack on how they can lower cortisol.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Your brain, the human brain, mine, yours, everybody's, does not have the capability to be in a state of stress or a state of gratitude at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you're stressed out, all you got to do is the first thing I would do is I would just change where you are, because just changing your environment, walk into the bathroom, walk to the other side of your desk, look somewhere else, just do something.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and think about something that maybe it's your kids. Maybe there's always something to be grateful about. As soon as you start to do this, your brain releases positive chemicals into your bloodstream. And what happens, it stops releasing the stressful chemicals into your bloodstream. And you literally can change your state just that quickly. And if you make this a practice, it's really, really easy to keep yourself in a better state. Here's the cool thing. We know for a fact, everybody will agree with this, that if you're too stressed out, it can kill you. People die from fucking heart attacks and stress all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's our thoughts. We have these stressful thoughts related to the stress hormones goes into our bloodstream, can kill us, makes us sick. So if negative thoughts can make us sick, positive thoughts can heal us.
Yeah. So obvious. It's so difficult for much of us. Guys, the next one here is a massive one that, again, we talk about often. There's more research than ever that supports this. Sleep deprivation. There's really, if we want to live longer and if we want to decrease our mental acuity as we get older, we have to get quality sleep. And, guys, whether you want to measure it or not with, we all have wearables that we can wear now, and some like the approach, some don't like the approach. That's really not the point. The point is that, we have devices now that can measure it. The reality is quality. I talked to Jesse Levy a couple weeks ago, and he's like, the number one hack I would give anybody to live longer or have a healthier life mentally is to sleep more. Yeah, Johnny, all of society, and I've been thinking about this all week, actually. So much of society works against the number one reason that helps us live longer, which is sleep, and the number one reason which reduces mental acuity, which is sleep. Yet most of society is constantly swimming against that perspective.
And it's so simple because sleep is going to bed is fucking boring.
Yeah.
There's something on social media that's going to keep your attention, something on fucking TV.
Yeah.
So we're distracted.
Yes.
It's straight up distraction. And sleep, I mean, here's the thing. You get people that are, and everybody wants like losing body fat, losing weight is a topic that grabs people's ears, right?
Yes.
We metabolize a lot of body fat when we're sleeping, if we're sleeping well. I can't tell you how many people I've helped change their state of mind so they can sleep better. And when they start to sleep better, their condition rapidly changes, meaning they feel better, they get stronger, their fucking belts, they got to start cutting new holes in their belts, all because they've basically improve their sleep.
It's incredible because you and I have seen enough headlines in the magazines and media of the world, these stupid headlines, which is 3 great exercises to get abs in the gym, or here's how you get abs in the kitchen. When really what we should be saying is the best way to get abs, go to sleep. Like really, I'm being joking.
I totally agree. It's just not marketable.
Well, that's what I mean. It's boring, right? It's like, what do you mean Jon Andersen is saying go to sleep to get abs? Johnny's built a multi-gazillion business on going to sleep and getting it, because the fact of the matter is that's what works.
Yeah. I mean, it's when it comes down to it, it's all the simple shit.
Yes.
That works the best. It's just that everybody's looking for that fucking button. They're looking for that shiny object.
Yes.
And they're distracted from the shit that works.
Yeah. Social isolation, guys. The next one on our list, which will help you age better than you're probably aging right now, is social isolation. Loneliness triggers neural changes associated with accelerated cognitive decline. And guys, one of the things I'm seeing coming out of this show is the social connections that I am making, Johnny, we're making with all of you guys. So there's really no reason for us to be lonely. Right, every single day we got this show going on. Johnny and Keith are available all the time. Come connect with us on the socials. I'm hoping that you guys can recognize there's no reason that we should be aging quickly because of social isolation, especially with this show. Next one, Johnny, multitasking. Too many of us are multitasking, which is causing mental fatigue and impairing decision making. The science is suggesting stay on one task. Johnny.
Dan Pena.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
His big thing is he said, look, what you're missing here, your superpower is your focus.
Yes.
You're not focusing.
Yes.
He's like, if you sit down and you clear everything out of the way and you focus on a single task that moves the needle forward, you'll be blown away at how much progress you make. But you're sitting down to do this and, we got to think about this. Oh, the phone's doing that. I need to check this. I did that. And there's no focus and there's no basically no forward momentum.
Yes.
Focus.
You're constantly being distracted.
Focus is fucking currency.
Yes.
Where are you investing your attention? Your attention is massive if you put it in the right spot.
100%. And last one, guys, that's going to help us age better. Good morning, Amy Reiner. See you there in the comments. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're talking about, we are talking everyday habits that are secretly aging somebody's brain. And again, you know how we like to create awareness on this show to help people maybe not do these things. And if as you're going through your day, guys, one of the decisions you can make is leave the ultra processed food aside. I know we talk about it all the time. It's being.
I was waiting for this one. I was like, this fucking study better have this in here.
Yeah, and I know it kind of gets, you guys are repetitive. No, we're being repetitive because it's true. And again, we're being repetitive because this show is about routine. This show is about creating habits. This show is about helping us make good decisions throughout the day. And if something I say or Johnny says about ultra processed foods help you right now go through your day going, I think I'll choose the egg today instead of that ultra processed crap, then Keith and Johnny won. So guys, stay away from the ultra processed foods. Jon Andersen.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing is that it's normal to so many people, but look at the people it's normal to. They're not performing and they're probably not the person you're trying to emulate. You look at the person that you're looking up to, the person you're trying to emulate, the person you're trying to be like, that dude does not eat all that junk. Not to say that he doesn't have it once in a while, but he understands that fueling himself with good whole foods, real whole foods, is part of the foundation of what makes him who he is.
Yes. All right, coming to the bottom of the hour here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Holroyd. I see you there. Good morning, Peaches. I see you there as well. You're hanging out with Keith and John here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys get yourself going here today. Johnny, so I was working on something as per a conversation you and I had a couple weeks ago, and it's coming together. I'm hoping to launch it this week. And right now I tentatively have it titled as a new segment we're going to introduce to the show. And it's called Habit Stack Hacks. Every day, we're going to give and we're going to encourage our audience to think about for habit stacking, right? And going to put it out there. We're going to create a segment around it. And basically it's going to be a giveaway to somebody. Hey, here's something you can do today. And then ideally get the audience engaged as well, right? Because maybe when you're in the kitchen doing something, you touch your
takeaways are good, baby. I love it. I love this.
Right?
This is
so habit stack hacks coming up next week with Keith and John, working on the segment, a 2, 3, 4 minute segment. Give you guys something every day to stack a habit. So for example, maybe you're in the kitchen boiling water for your eggs. Well, that's 6 minutes, Johnny. Maybe while those 6 minutes of boiling eggs, you can touch your toes or do some push-ups. I don't know. Or you can walk around the kitchen for 6 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
or not. How about, do something like that versus scrolling your fucking phone.
Exactly. Or no. Here's something. Boil your eggs, walk around the kitchen, hold your phone, write a social media post. There you go. So there you go. You can do 3 things at once. You can get on your social media, write a post while you're walking, boiling your eggs. In 6 minutes, you got 3 things done. Now, I know we just talked.
The question is, what's the social media post about? Is it something that actually has some value? Or are you just fucking polluting the airwaves?
No, you know what the value is, Johnny? I'm walking around the kitchen right now with a habit stack, and I'm teaching all you.
Okay, so you're making a post about what you're doing. Okay, much better.
I'm just.
That's fucking perfect because we need to spread this message. 100%.
Yeah, so I really want to, and I was thinking to myself because, we know now there's a world where content lives differently on different platforms. Well, this segment might live very well on a platform like TikTok, right? Habit stack hacks with Keith and John, right? Where it's a quick little hit, and then we can own this idea of do this. Now, I know we just talked about multitasking, and we know, but what I'm talking about multitasking is don't be sitting at your desk trying to write off fucking 3,000 page proposal to Jon Andersen while at the same time you're trying to write a fucking 10,000 page business plan while at the same time you're trying to coordinate your kids' dance lessons. No, what I'm talking about with multitasking is focus on your one task. But as you're going through your life, habit stacking, brushing your teeth, touching your toes, walking around the kitchen while you're boiling water. Those are the things that are going to move you forward in life. That's what
and 100%. And to go a little, just to describe that a little differently, that 6 minutes while you're waiting, that waiting can be used with something else productive because you don't have it. The task of boiling the eggs is on hold for 6 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you know what? You can even fucking meditate for 6 minutes, Johnny. So if you don't want to
do anything productive for 6 minutes,
I'm just like, hey, you can empty the clip in 6 minutes too, man. I'm just saying.
Fuck, you can probably empty it a few times, depending on how young you are.
Speaking of emptying, we're going to go here. Have you ever?
I heard you talk about this, and I love it. Here's the thing. I guess when it comes down to it, did you freeze again, brother? There we go. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, I guess when it comes down to it, when you start your sexual journey, are you trying to, what's your intent? Are you trying to be a good partner, a good lover, whatever you want to call it, right? And for me, that was a very important thing. I think realistically, because my blood dad he probably talked to me more about sex than any other topic when I was a preteen. Really interesting, but that's the truth. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that if you're in that position where, because most dudes, or I shouldn't say dudes, a sexual interlude, the dude usually is the one that leaves the chick short. That's just usually the way it works.
100%.
So dudes, if you're in a position, and I look at it as like a window of opportunity, you're banging away and like, okay, I'm not going to chase this one down. It's too fast for me today. Then use that opportunity to please the shit out of your partner. It's an opportunity.
Yes. So listen, Johnny, 10% of men over 40 struggle with an issue called male anorgasmia, where they are unable to finish, unable to achieve climax. And understanding anorgasmia isn't just about better sexual health. It's about overall well-being, emotional intimacy, and mental health. Now, I'll be honest. I'll be vulnerable and put it out there. This has not happened to me. I can speak through personal experience. I have not experienced this.
Because you live your life present.
Okay.
So you're actually sitting there going, holy shit, feel that. This is fucking amazing.
If anything,
versus the average fucking brain, God knows he's thinking about this, thinking about that. So if you're not living in the present, then you're not really getting the benefit of what you're doing, which, because at a certain point, your shaft gets a little bit numb, if you want to call it. And, you're going to have a hell of a time polishing that thing off.
Yes. Admittedly, as a younger man, I had perhaps...
Or you lose your stiffy, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. So admittedly, as a younger man growing up, I've talked openly on the show. I've had the other issues, right? Where it wasn't working properly. It was maybe too bendy or it was going too fast. So I haven't had this experience yet, but I will share that, as men are aging, this topic matters because it can drastically influence a man's self-esteem, relationship satisfaction.
But hold on, but not getting off. See, I would be more affected if I was getting off too quickly, not pleasing my partner. That to me would be more of a, God damn it, I'm not pulling my weight here.
That's fair.
If I had to pick me getting off too quick and not pleasing Terry, or not being able to get off at all, but pleasing the shit out of her, I will take the second one every time.
So I know humans want conflict because that creates drama, but I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I think where I'm going to suspect where some of the self-worth comes with this is, it's like you're not doing your job.
Well, dude, who doesn't want to be good in the sack? Come on.
Well, precisely.
And good in the sack doesn't mean you dropped your load too quick. It means that you kept your shit together and you pleased the shit out of your partner.
Yes. Now, this is something that male anorgasmia increases with age, jumping significantly after 65. So, Johnny, you and I got 12 years yet to keep getting after it. And it has numerous causes. Medications, obviously, right?
I can speak on this, brother. When Tara and I, when we do our shit, we don't just do quickies. I mean, we somehow do quickies, but it's not during Terry time. Terry time, we take a good chunk of time and we do our thing.
Yes.
I would say maybe 25% of the time, maybe 30, this happens to me, but I have zero problem with it.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, it's the whole experience. Did she enjoy it is my number one concern.
Well, and I'm appreciative of you saying this, Johnny, because you've dropped the curtain on. It's okay if one does. It's okay if you don't finish. If Terry's happy and if the whole moment of connected tissue is happiness, and if you guys are spending time connecting, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, it's not measured in, okay, I'm done, boom, boom, it's out, we're over with. And I like that.
I'm still having trouble with this thought process. Let's just take this show.
Sure.
Let's just say that this show was great for me and fucking sucked for you. This would not be a long-term relationship.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like, okay, let's just say that we're two gay men.
Yeah, yes.
The same rules apply.
100%.
If it's fucking great for me and it's terrible for you, we're going to have fucking problems.
Yes.
So one of the things that I think about obviously not only with sex, but other elements of my relationship with Terry, I know that if I am basically pleasing her, if she's happy, that's the security of knowing that our relationship is strong and stable.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting to hear you say, Johnny, and I love that you're talking about this because this really comes down to relationship dynamics, right? And communicating with our partners. So, men, as we're getting older, and I'm really glad we're having this discussion because, men, it's going to happen. It's going to happen as we're getting older. But in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, the reality is, as I've learned, and as Johnny's talking about, it's the entire experience. It's not just the drive from point A to point B at emptying the clip. It's the entire experience because men. And you know what? Here's the thing. And here's the thing, Johnny. The young man Carter threw it on the table a couple of days ago. Failure is going to happen. How you react to it's how you're going to be judged, right? He's like, so if we want to say that failure is not able to orgasm, well, as Carter said, it's going to happen. So,
well, but 100%. Now, let's just add one more element to this.
Yeah.
If you're not finishing because you can't keep a good piece of wood, now I can understand where this starts to attack the ego because you weren't able to. I mean, the odds are if you can't keep a stiffy, you're not making your partner happy or yourself. That fucking sucks. I can see where that comes from.
Yes,
and of course, that's a whole different position that we're taking on this versus if you just were in a situation where you've got a good stiffy and you can't knock it off, but you're pleasing your partner. I'm betting that most dudes would be good with that. I don't know though.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
I would think so too. At least I would think so as we mature as young men, as we get a little bit older, perhaps we're thinking that, it's not so caught up in the performance side of it. Right. And we haven't even introduced the topic of pornography into this whole situation. We'll leave that aside. But, the anorgasmic, guys, it happens and it's going to happen as we go through life. Don't stress about it. Focus on the whole situation. Johnny, let's do lifestyle tip. And then when we come back, I want to talk about that not drinking for 8 years, how it's been a big impact on my life, how I came to the decision, the benefits has happened to me, and the future for alcohol and me. So let's do that. And you'll take a break after that. How does that sound, brother? Sound like a plan?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So, Jimmy, we're going to do. And then Johnny's going to step away for a second. Let's go, brother.
All right. Every morning, we wake up with a choice. It's beautiful. It resets itself every day. So the question you got to ask yourself is, what choices am I going to make? Because you could make a series of make a series of decisions and choices that actually creates a warrior, so to speak, meaning a version of you that gets the job done, a version of you that takes care of his family, a version of you that moves forward in life. Or you can wake up and you can make a different set of decisions where you procrastinate and you make excuses and you do things that, ultimately are not good for you, for sure. You know that. But what people tend to not realize is those decisions that are holding you back, they in many cases are hurting the ones you love more than you. Because if you weren't making those poor decisions, you would be a better version of you, which means you take better care of them. So just remember, every single morning you wake up with a choice. Who am I going to be today? And if you frame it that way, sometimes it gets much easier to get up and make that first hard choice. Being a warrior is not easy, but you make that first hard choice, and guess what? The second hard choice is that much easier. And guess what? The third choice is even easier than that. And before you know it, making hard choices is just a piece of cake. And those hard choices that you're making are benefiting you and your family. So remember, every day you have the choice to be who you want to be. Question is, are you asking yourself the question, and are you committing to making those hard choices? Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, make the hard choice. But as Johnny would say, make the hard choice the night before. You make the hard choice the night before, it's going to eliminate the battle you might have on your shoulders the next morning. One brain might be saying, do this, do this, do this. One shoulder might be saying, no, make a better choice. So as I've learned from Johnny, make that decision 12 hours before. before. Make the decision the night before you go to bed. So that when you wake up in the morning, you're not going, which one am I making? There, Johnny?
Yep, 100%. 100%. You know, and when you think about that, it's kind of crazy how you can literally choose. And I find that sometimes with myself. Sometimes I wake up, I'm just fucking tearing into the day.
Yeah.
And other times I'm like, God damn it. You know, I'm not putting this thing in gear very well. And then I decide, okay, in about 3 hours from now, I'm going to look back at my day and go, fuck, what's going on here? So it's time to put this thing in gear because I'm forecasting how I want to feel in 3 hours. And the way I want to feel includes me putting in gear and getting some shit done this morning.
That was me this morning. I got up this morning at 3:45 and I was ready to go. I was excited because I had a big hockey game. I love my hockey, so I got a hockey game tonight. I was excited about today's show. And, before I know it, I was like, holy smokes, 3 hours have gone by. I got my lifting, got my running, got my coffee and having great conversation. But I'll tell you, as I was getting up and waking up, my brain was kind of foggy. I kept telling myself how great the morning was going to be and how great I was going to feel. And man, I love how as time goes by, it's like the better voice in my head just keeps beating the other guy down. I'm like, yeah.
It's neuroplasticity, brother. Yeah. Because the more you do it, the stronger it gets. I mean, last night, Tara and I went out with some friends. We went out to dinner and there was some dancing. So we ended up having fun. You know, I got home a little bit later. I knew I would. So I was a little bit behind my normal bedtime, but I was like, okay, I need to climb in bed and I need to put my brain with some really, really solid thoughts of gratitude into a space where those positive chemicals are going to put me to sleep quickly. And dude, I fell asleep fast and hard. Yes. I ended up waking up on my own to take a piss about 10 minutes before my alarm. That tells me I got a good night's sleep. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of piss, I know you got to go here a quick second. You know what I'm loving as I'm aging? I'll admit this. I'm loving as I'm aging my ability to slow down and be aware of my emotions when in the past I might get all freaked out. So for example, if something's happening and maybe it's a respond react thing, but it's like, okay, a little bit of I can sense a little bit of stress in the air. I'm like, okay, be present. Here's the moment. Here's the time. Is it that bad? No. And I just breathe through it. That to me is maturity and age, and I'm enjoying that. I'll tell you because it doesn't stress me out. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's I would say that's probably one of the magic tricks to life.
Yeah,
is basically to not overreact to the shit that doesn't matter, and not let the overreactions get you all bent out of shape with stress hormones.
Yeah, so true, so true. Okay, listen, you step away for a pee break. We'll come back. We'll talk about alcohol. I got some comments here. Peaches, I see you there.
Quick, my breaks are called piss breaks, not pee. Yeah, give me a piss. Here I go. Jimmy, get me off the screen.
Johnny's going for a piss break. I am going to keep it rock and rolling. Peaches, I see your comment there. Peaches, let's see what you got here. Too much information, so I need some male advice. So my partner wants me like crazy. I personally feel like 3 times a week is enough. What can I do to push it to be like a weekend thing without them feeling rejected or worse? Well, Peaches, oh my goodness, I don't know how to respond to that. I'm what's wrong with 3 times? Maybe you want to go 5 times or 7 times. Like I'm curious. So this opens up a bunch of questions for me. It's like, so are you not happy with the 3 times? Are you wanting more? Are you wanting less? Do you not like your partner as much as your partner likes you? Like, I'm really curious about this whole thing. I love it. Thank you for sharing it with us this morning. And I know that men, I'm a tired mama. It's so fun. Conversation with your partner. Maybe that's the advice I would offer out there. And because I don't know, I'm stumbling on my words because I'm one of the. I can go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week myself. So I love my partner too. So it's the same situation. Lady Drew, I see your comments as well. Exercise, fresh air, consuming healthy foods, beverages, staying away from negative stress and alcohol and plastics assist in better sexual performance. Keeping a strict sleep schedule assists in better sexual performance too. Peaches, what do you hey Johnny, we got Jimmy, let's bring Johnny back up here on the vertical here.
I was squeezing trying to get that done to get back here because I could hear Peaches talking. So I was like, this is good. Yeah. This is good.
I love
Peaches is a female. I just want to make sure she's a female. Yeah. She's a retired mom. And the partner wants more or less. I just want to make sure I got it.
Yeah, more. Yeah.
More. Okay, well then I guess the first question is Peaches is it not good enough for her to want more?
Oh, that's a legitimate question. Yeah, I see it.
I mean, you think about it. You know, it's like if if your partner likes to go to the movies 5 times a week and you're like, fuck, it's just not that fun for me, you're not going to want to go 5 times a week. But if you're like, I fucking love the movies too, let's go every day.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably a bit of an interest level, which tells me that maybe, I don't know, maybe they needed to soup up their sex life with something.
Yeah, it's actually, hey, Peaches, I'm fascinated by this. I love them and theirs. Trust me. Convo has been made because I'm like, geez.
Tired, Mom. She says she's tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought retired. Okay. What did she say there?
She said, I love them and theirs. Trust me. Convo has been made because I'm like, geez, let us breathe for a bit. Maybe hubby doesn't want to breathe. Maybe hubby just wants to keep getting that. Hey, let me throw this to you, Peaches. How would you feel if it was the opposite? And now I'm not picking sides here. How would you feel if it was my partner doesn't want to have sex with me at all? And so is it a matter of just finding a balance, or is it a matter of is it an interest thing?
Is she enjoying it? I mean, is she getting what she wants out of the interlude? You know what I mean? Because in many cases, what happens, brother, is, and I've dealt with this in plenty of times when I was younger, is that I would get some girlfriend who had kind of a negative association with sex because of the bad sex life she had prior to me.
Yes.
So, the idea of pleasing her to recreate the association with sex, that was something that, if you don't do that, it's hard to overcome this hurdle.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I'd love to keep the conversation going, Peaches. Keep filling Johnny and I and what's happening over there. But I do want to pivot our conversation to our deep dive today, which is Johnny. I'm going on to year 9. Going into year 9 of not having a sip or a drink of alcohol. True story, man. I'll never forget the moment. Actually, just coming home from an event with Lauren. We're in the back of a taxi. I'd had a bunch of drinks that night, and I
want to know what's the catalyst. This is good. I want to hear the catalyst.
Yeah, and I was just jerk.
I know it always seems to be that way. People that stop drinking is because they do dumb shit when they're drunk.
Yeah, I did dumb shit that night. Did dumb shit that night, and nothing physical, just dumb shit. Like just dumb shit. I just was like, really, like fuck, come on, right? So got up the next morning, new relationship, new life. And I was like, that's it. I'm done with it. I don't need it anymore. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't like how I feel when I'm drinking. I don't like how
it puts the important stuff in your life at risk.
It 100% does. Yes.
I mean, it's not worth it to me.
What I found though, John, for me, and I'll be really honest, is that it was really an eye opener for me if this is something I wanted my entire life, but I didn't know it. I knew it, but I didn't know it. And I was reflecting. I've been reflecting in anticipation of today's conversation. I remember being in college where we go to events and I didn't want to go. I was just more than happy being in my room, being solitude and being alone. Why? Because I didn't want to drink. Where growing up with my cousins or my family, and my family, my family, my cousins were, my mom and dad, 13 brothers and sisters. So I had a massive family growing up, cousins and uncles and aunties, and always events and always booze. Right. And I was part of it because of the peer situation. Right. We grew up in the same era. So I was part of the peer situation, and it was just part of my life. And it was just part of me. And I recall just it being part of just how you went through life. And then, but I also remember going through family situations and events going, I'm only drinking because that's just what everybody seems to do. But yeah, Johnny, I fucking hated it. I did. I hated it. I just didn't like how but I didn't know how to get out of it, John. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to stop the peer pressure. I just didn't know how to be myself. It wasn't until losing fucking gazillions of dollars, going through my personal journey in life, all that bullshit, sitting in the back of a taxi with my brand new partner going, holy fuck, man, I'm going down a bad path again. I got to make a change or else this isn't good. I made the change.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has their own variation of this, like for me, when I was growing up, drinking was just something that got in the way of me reaching my goals. So it's very easy for me not to do it,
Yes.
And I didn't have this thing like, oh my God, I can't have a sip of alcohol. Like at college, when we'd go to parties, right? I would just take one long neck beer and I would hold it like just by the top here. But I wouldn't hold the whole thing. My hand would warm up the glass, and I could fucking nip on that all fucking night and drink like a half of a fucking beer, being there for hours and hours. And that way I like the taste of beer, but what I didn't like was how it would alter my performance the next day of my training. So it was, for me, it was a simple trade. It was not worth it.
Well, and for me, Johnny, it was what happened with me. And so you've gotten to see me, my personality, you know, on the show, and just as sober and just as me as who I am here. And I'd like to think I'm a good time Charlie as this. When you throw some drinks into me, you know, I'm fucking mega good time Charlie. I'm mega community guy. I'm mega guy. I'm all of a sudden there's this, holy fuck, man, let's go hang out with that guy. Let's go party with that dude, right? Back when I was growing ICUC and going to the casinos in Vegas, brother, there's an entourage because, you know, it was fun, right? And then for a while there, you know, it was almost like there was this persona, right? Where people are part of that persona because who I was. And I didn't know how to get out of it, frankly. Because it kept feeding itself, right? It kept feeding itself. It kept perpetuating itself, right? It was like this character, right? And I just didn't know how to stop it. You follow that?
You know, brother, it all comes down to interest. Finally, you became more interested in not doing dumb shit than you did fitting into that mold with everybody's expectations.
Yes.
You stopped caring about what you were supposed to do and what everybody expected. And they're like, I don't care about that. What I care about is not doing this dumb shit anymore.
Yes. And you know what? I'm sharing this with you because I remember those moments in my 20s and 30s where I was wanting to make the decision that I made in my 40s about stopping. But I didn't have the courage as a young man or the peer pressure. I just didn't know how. Right. And I didn't have the support because in my POV, that's just what it was that you did. You just, you're in college, you're going to go drinking. Yeah. You're going to go to the bar, you're just drinking. Right. Where it was, when I look at my son now and the kids now, it's different. And I appreciate that. But I will tell you, Johnny, what was the biggest game changer for me was not so much the alcohol in the moment, was all of the decisions that I hated as I kept consuming more, making my way to McDonald's, making the bad decisions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a fucking gateway to making poor decisions.
Oh, as every beer went down or as every shot went down, every decision got worse. Right. And
dude, 100%.
Like, you know, and I made a lot of bad decisions. And again, I go back to that taxi cab when I got up the next morning and I looked at Lauren, I'm like, I'm done. And that was it. I have not done it ever since, man. It was March, 8.5 years ago. We were at a Jets game, and I have not even touched alcohol since. And it's not because
but the impressive part about this, brother, I just want to give you kudos here, is that you made a decision and you stuck to it.
Yes.
Yes. So many people, they'll make that decision in some sort of, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm never going to drink again. Until the next fucking party that just seems too good. And then and then because they break their word to themselves, it gets easier every time. And then they're in this cycle of not being able to get out.
Well, and you know what happens, Johnny, is, and then, so here's the fun side of this whole equation now, right? And you can relate to this. So as time goes on and the streak starts to happen, right? Well, I haven't had a drink in 8 years. I haven't had a drink in 5 years. So it's like now it's like we're going to hang out. Keith, why don't you have a beer with me? Sure, I could, but I kind of don't want to because then I can't say that I haven't had a drink in 8 or 9 years, right? It's just this value of the statement now means more to me than sitting down and just having a drink.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I mean, when my friends down here, right on the other side of that wall, we got a fucking bar with a tap.
Yeah,
seats fucking with TV. It's a fucking 12-seat bar.
I've seen your place at your house. Yeah, you got a nice bar in your backyard, but you don't drink.
Yeah, and there's a fucking pizza oven, for Christ's sake. For a guy who doesn't eat pizza or drink, it's kind of fucking silly. But people come over, they have a drink, and I'll sit there and have a Diet Coke or whatever it is that I'm going to have to drink with them, because it's really not about, it's okay, everybody's having a drink, but don't think, when normally you say drink, you think alcohol.
Yes.
Think drink as liquid.
Yes. Well, and here's
I'm going to have a drink too. It's just going to be a non-alcoholic drink, and I'll enjoy your company just 100%. The same.
Yes. Well, the funny thing is too, is on the other side of this wall over here, when I built the house, I built a big bar downstairs, big bar, big rec room, right? was never used because just not a drinking, partying kind of person, right? Now I got this gym over here every single day. It's used for 4, 5, 6 hours a day every day compared to the bar that was set up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to rip out the $100,000 bar to put in the $100,000 gym and use it every single day. Right. Just, you know what I mean? So,
well, you know, the good thing, our bar gets used. We eat out there. We hang out there. It doesn't a bar is a place to socialize.
Yes. 100%. Yes. Yep. Exactly. And so is the gym.
And so that's your fucking opinion. You're not kidding me. Fucking socializing at the gym. Fuck, I'm going to the gym to get my work in.
I got a bunch of comments in the feeds here. Let's get to them, brother. We got some wonderful comments here. We got Peaches coming back here, Johnny, with the conversation about. So, guys, just to bring everybody up to speed here, before the conversation on alcohol, we were talking about male inorgasmia and a male's inability to ejaculate and have an orgasm. And Peaches offered up the fact that her partner wants more sex with Peaches than partner may want. And Peaches comes in with exactly, he says the same thing. Trust me, I'm enjoying it, but I want to break. They are the only one that has handled me. Trust me. I
think it's all back to her being tired, brother. So I was thinking about, so the question is, why are you tired? Are you not taking care of yourself?
That's right.
Because if you're full of energy, you know, like when I'm tired, if I'm for whatever, and you too, my sexual urge is going to be much less if I'm fucking beat up and tired.
Absolutely.
When I'm properly rested and eating well and hydrated.
Yes.
You know, that thing stands up often.
We got Inquisitor Bacon coming in with our drinking conversation. Oh yeah, I hate drinking or at events, restaurants. I prefer to just have a drink at home, and I also don't get drunk. And Inquisitor also comes back with if someone doesn't want to drink, I don't say anything more to them about it. I'll bring them a soda or whatever drink they want. And I agree with you, Inquisitor. I like that. And I like how society is definitely moving, especially with the younger generation, where there's less peer pressure around drinking. Right. I know when you and I grew up, it was like, oh, why are you drinking? Oh, why are you drinking?
Here's the thing, brother. The people that are focused on moving forward, right?
Yes.
Because you're either moving forward or you're moving back. There's nothing in between.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
People that are focused on being productive and moving forward, they don't care what you're drinking when you have a drink with them. It's the people that are fucking, you know, slowly sliding back that want you to fucking drink alcohol, because that's part of in many cases, that's part of their slide back.
Yeah, and it keeps people on the same keel, right? What's up, Jay? I see you there in the comments, brother. Thanks for joining us again. Jay, I love you hanging out, man. You hang with us every single day, and I really appreciate that. Lauren coming in with, and I think Lauren's bang on with this statement, Johnny. I think you can appreciate this. I also don't think people who drink regularly know how good they can actually feel. It's not even about abstaining. It's about continuing on feeling your absolute best. Right.
That falls right into my statement of most people don't know how bad they feel till they finally feel good.
I read a comment. I read a funny story with Mark Zuckerberg here. Love him or hate him, but his wife was teasing him because apparently he lives his entire life like extremely sober. It doesn't nothing to
alter his mind.
Yeah. And she commented on him saying that, you know, Mark raw dogs reality. She goes, sometimes I don't know how he does it. Like raw dog. Like he attacks reality, like just with nothing. I
mean, look at him, because he's fucking brought, he does. If you think about it, handling fucking reality is a difficult fucking task for him.
100%. Yes.
And if you can pursue that shit rather than run away from it or distract yourself from it, most people, they spend a good chunk of their life distracting themselves from their reality.
Yes. And then we got Peaches come back with exactly, John. So she's, you're right with your comments on the tired part. Congrats on the hard work and change for the better, KB. Glad you chose a better outlook. Peaches, I appreciate you. And then her last comment was, yes, I do have health issues. They do take that in consideration, which is great. I do have heart issues and chronic fatigue and cyclic vomiting syndrome as well. So I'm always tired. So needless to say, Johnny, our friend Peaches has a few things going on, which
sounds like maybe a little bit more of the doctor's wheelhouse with some of those conditions than mornings in the lab.
Yeah. And then we got Matthew Roof coming in with a conversation on alcohol. And you know what, Tony, I'll tell you something. I've been getting to know Matthew a little bit off the show. Solid dude, man. Same era of you and I. I can tell you that I think the fellow has gone on some of the similar journeys as you and I, and he's a solid young man here. Alcohol-induced regrets, he talks about. Yes, exactly. To every one of my ripe philosophical destruction, moral erosion, emptiness, relationship, all that kind of stuff. And he says it's fun until it's not, and it becomes an expectation and a giant fucking drag. There's so much of that, Matthew.
You know what happens, dude, is people think that they're fun drunks, right? But in actuality, they're the only ones having fucking fun. Everybody around them is like, this fucking sucks.
I will tell you, man, when I dropped this conversation yesterday, teasing today's show, like the statistics, and it's showing me on today's show, people are intrigued by this. Like this is a thread for everybody. I dropped the trailer for today's show. The stats yesterday were through the roof. And then even today's show, today's engagement, like this is a topic that affects everybody, frankly. And I'm fascinated by it. Johnny.
Well, I mean, if it's, let's be honest, alcohol probably causes more problems for an average person than anything else.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of problems, here's something. Have you ever, true story for you, brother, because of our age, have you ever battled gout, or have you had any friends that have battled gout?
Yeah.
So my dad, I've had some friends who've battled it, and I haven't, but I've been understanding it, how much pain it is in your toe or your appendages, and we're going to talk about it here in a couple of minutes. But dude, it can debilitate you, Johnny?
I've never known anybody that's had it,
that
regularly cares themselves with exercise and eating properly.
Yeah,
the people that have it don't do either.
Yes. So,
I'm not saying that it can't happen without that. To my experience, I've never seen someone like my buddies that have had it over the years.
Yeah,
I surely wasn't fucking seeing them in the gym.
So there's the same thing. There is some new research, John. There's some new research that's suggesting that that genetics might play, keyword might, genetics might play a bigger role in gout than lifestyle choices. Now, guys, we're not saying go to fucking Big Macs and go eat your McDonald's and wipe everything out here. What I'm suggesting is that there's some research now is saying that there might be some genetics that that might be affecting us with gout. A landmark international study involving 2.6 million people identified 377 genetic markers linked to gout with 100.
But real quick, on that level, when we talk about, genetics, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Usually when you look at these fucking studies, yes, there's a genetic tree that's this shit's being passed down. But the interesting part is these motherfuckers are all living their lives about the same.
I was just
I can't tell you how many fucking people that have come to me and said, look, obesity runs in my family. Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So how many of those people in older generations did they all live the same? Did some of them take care of themselves and they still had the problem?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay, so does obesity really run in your family, or poor habits run in your family?
Well, that
and then they're like, wow, I never thought about that. Well, it's because it's so fucking easy to hide behind some fucking genetic excuse. Now, people, there's no question that there can be, maybe you genetically have some sort of a fucking heart murmur. Let's just call it. I don't even know if that's a thing. But if you cared for yourself, that's going to make that genetic thing less of a risk.
Yes.
But this whole DNA thing tends to be something people hide behind. So they just blame it on DNA and they end up doing the same dumb shit the generations before them do. And this fucking stupid wives' tale carries on.
Well, and this is what I found fascinating, John, because if you're raised in a family that has been obese by eating bad food and making bad decisions, and then that family decides to have a child and that child ends up having gout, well, of course the genetics are going to follow through with how you were raised. So when I found the study, yes, I'm putting it on the table for us to discuss, but I did find it somewhat coincidental that if it is genetics and you are living a bad lifestyle and passing it on, well, then of course there's going to be a combination of genetics and lifestyle, because you're not changing anything you're not changing anything in the cycle of life. You're just perpetuating it. You're literally perpetuating
100%. And I've got a really perfect example. Most people watching, I know you, Keith, have seen the shape of my wife, Terry. She's in fucking phenomenal shape.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's obesity on both sides of her
Mm.
family, both sides. Well, interestingly enough, she started exercising when she was like 11 years old.
Yeah, because she didn't want to be obese like she saw, right?
And so all of these, going back, all of these obese people in the family tree, they all made the same fucking choices.
Yes.
So of course they all have the same fucking outcome.
Yes.
It's like this, for example, these are gastric bypass people, not let's change my fucking eating habits people.
Yes.
Well, fuck, of course. So for those of you that think that, and even if there is some sort of true genetic disposition, it's the way that you live your life that has the biggest issue.
Yes.
Yeah. I got one on for me too. In my family, both sides, my mom and my dad's side, everybody has had a fucking stroke before the age of 50.
No shit, eh?
Everybody. There's not been one my generation. Now, keep in mind, none of in my generation, but my brothers and I, we all exercise regularly. They just, not that they were, for those times, they weren't terribly unhealthy people, but they didn't have a rhythm of caring for themselves.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, what does it mean for you? First, stop the blame game. Yeah, your genes are going to play a critical role. However, talk to your doctor. As Johnny said, don't take the advice from mornings in the lab, right? But if you got some gout issues, talk to your doctor. Genetic screening, especially if gout runs in your family. There's something to be said for that. Roof, I see your comments there. Dude, have you been on a medical chart? Genetics makes you a suspect. Lifestyle makes you a sufferer. Oh, I like that. Genetics make you a suspect. Lifestyle makes you a sufferer. I have genetic rheumatoid arthritis, which is related to gout. When I was making shitty decisions, I suffered. There you go, Roof. When I started taking care of myself, healthy eating, dropping booze, boom, no problems. And I love that. There's direct results to that, right? And then we got Peaches coming in, Johnny, as well, which says, and back to the sex conversation, Johnny. Peaches, trust me, I want them just as much as but my body's like, girls, sit down. Hey, Peaches, sit down on your partner, and then he can just do all the work. But then,
shit, man, he might like it if you throw up in the middle of a good session.
Sit on his face, Peaches. Yeah. And then she comes back with the comment on gout, which is my adopted brother has gout, and yep, he's an alcoholic. Detox at the moment, he and his body now feeling all the alcohol abuse. The pain has him shook for sure. I hope he sticks to some sobriety. So, guys, the reality is gout is out there, and as we get older, it's there. Don't always blame it on the food. There's food, there's genetics, there's lifestyle. There's a lot of things that go into the entire situation.
Gout, I think gout represents many of the different things that you could be kind of fucked up with, so to speak, if you don't live your life properly.
Yes, exactly. All right, bro. Well, listen, Johnny, what time do I have you here today, pal? We got somebody in the green and waiting to come in here. You want to meet him?
I got a couple minutes. I got till 20.
Okay, awesome. So listen, have you ever wondered who's actually behind your favorite professional podcast? Well, listen, spoiler alert, it's not some intern named Chad. Coming up in a few moments, guys, we got Johnny Flores. And this guy's turning the podcasting chaos into clarity. I think Johnny's joining us from the West Coast. He got up early today to hang out with us. He's going to be joining us in the lab in a couple of minutes. Before we do that, though, Johnny runs the Flores Podcast Production, specializing in end-to-end podcast production for small business, professional organizations. He helps clients develop podcast concepts, manage production, position themselves as industry thought leaders. He also mentors new podcasters and embraces AI. Coming up in a few minutes, we got Johnny Flores joining us here in Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. And we got Lauren coming back in the comments here, Johnny. On the flip side, I've been told I'm lucky because of my genetics. When my grandfather had passed away after having 14 heart attacks, my grandmother passed away of severe diabetes. People love excuses. It's true. People always love excuses. I think, Johnny, I think excuses are a way for us to validate something as a human being. Right? Because it gives us a reason to hang on to words. It gives us a reason to say, okay, well, that's the reason. Some people need to have a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's, what it comes down to it. It's like, call it an excuse like, a fucking nasty goddamn illegal street drug.
Yeah.
You really fucking want to find a reason to support using it, you can find it. But we all know down at the fucking heart of hearts, you shouldn't be fucking doing that shit.
Yes.
So however you want to fucking slice the word excuse, however you want to justify it. And you get down to the bottom of the whole thing and realize it just shouldn't be a part of our lives.
There you go. There you go. And then finally, John, we got a comment from Peaches here closing it up. She says, I do and I will continue to. Thanks, buds. And hey, Peaches. So I'm going to assume when you say I do and will, that's responding to my comment of sitting on his face. Right. I'm just assuming, Peaches, that's what you're talking about there. So I'm just and then Peaches, come back on Monday and tell us how the weekend was. Tell us how the ride was on the weekend. We'd love to hear how that feedback went. Johnny, what do you got going on the weekend, pal? I know it's Cinco de Mayo. I'm eager to hear about the Cinco de Mayo experience happening in your community where you're at this weekend. What's going on?
Oh, it fucking rocks. I mean, it's like literally like perfect example. The fucking vet yesterday. Yeah. It was an emergency fucking visit because he was already closed for the weekend. We had to get that fucker out of bed to meet us at the goddamn at the vet place. And then
he probably said to you, "Yeah, I'll be there shortly." And then you're like, "Okay, in Mexico, shortly means 5 hours."
Well, funny enough, dude, he was actually he what he said was literally, "I'll meet you there in 30 minutes." Right? Yeah. And in that type of a setting. That's one of the reasons why we go to this vet, because he's good. But generally speaking, if it's like, I'll see you, somewhere about this time. Okay. Yeah. You realize, and that's just the way it works here, and you can't get fucking bent out of shape because they work on their own timeline. Yeah. I know. But to answer your question, it's already rocking. I mean, but businesses are starting to close down yesterday. It's going to be, today, tomorrow, and Monday. It'll be the whole weekend.
That's awesome. Hey, Johnny, Peaches is doing what we asked for. So I think her husband's going to be her partner or boyfriend partner. It's going to be a happy man, Johnny, because her comments were okay, will do, with some laughing emojis. So I'm thinking that there's going to be some fun happening in Peaches' world this weekend. There you go. So, all right. Hey, listen, you're hanging out with Keith and John. Mornings in Lab with Keith and Friends. It's 9:17 Eastern time. We got Johnny Flores joining us here in a quick second. And we're going to have the conversation with Johnny. We got the community corner wrapping up, and I got a big hockey game tonight. But today on Mornings in Lab, I want you to meet Johnny Flores, the podcast whisperer who keeps businesses sounding smart without them lifting a finger. He's celebrating 7 successful years running Flores Podcast Productions. Just hit a decade milestone with his girlfriend. And oh, yeah, he's about to rock his 50th birthday. We'll dive into podcasting, AI paranoia, industry shakeups, and what Johnny believes laughter is the secret to great content. Jimmy, before Jon Andersen leaves, why don't we bring in Johnny Flores so we can meet him collectively? Johnny, what's shaking, Mr. Flores?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
How are you, pal?
What's up, brother?
Interesting conversation you guys are having. It was fly on the wall for that. So, it's interesting stuff.
I seen you back there in the green room. Your audio is great because you're a podcast guy. So I knew we weren't going to have any.
Sound really good. Sound really good,
awesome, man. Yeah, you sound great.
It's funny with the productions that I run. Most of our guests are on computer, like it's all remote. So most of the time they're on computer microphones. And then once in a blue moon, we get someone like you guys who have equipment, and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be so much easier to do everything.
Hey, Flores, before Anderson has to leave, quickly dive back into what we were talking about. What were you intrigued about? Was it the anorgasmic conversation or the gout conversation? And I'm serious, or the alcohol? What was what did you lean?
All of it, obesity, all that stuff. Because I don't know if you guys have heard of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Those often contribute to things like addiction,
100%,
problems, obesity.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's things that it's like you need to go get therapy, and that's going to help you overcome these ACEs that can help you turn your life around in other ways. So it's not always just like, hey, go get mentally strong or whatever it is. It's sometimes it's like, hey, you need professional help to help.
Well, you literally, when you have those traumatic childhood experiences, it makes that neuro connection so strong to traumatic shit. You have to literally understand or have somebody help you kind of rewire that neuroplasticity so that you're not always falling back into that traumatic shit that's got you.
Those things that gave you a way to escape when you were a kid. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
I appreciate it. Flores, where are you joining us from today, pal? I think West Coast, are you not?
Yep, Sacramento, California.
Nice.
Oh, right on, brother. Thanks
for getting up with us this morning. I know it's early for you today, so I appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. And also, I'm also very curious here. You're in the industry. You're listening to our show here this morning. Outside comments for Keith and Johnny on just what you're seeing so far.
No, you guys have it's weird. You guys are like bridging. You're like a hybrid show. It's a podcast and sort of like a traditional radio show, but it's
Yes.
done.
It's
It's done
exactly what we're
using
trying to do
on-demand media, which
Yeah.
is overtaken traditional media. I believe.
Yeah, there's
Last
nothing like it.
year, 23, some in the past like 2 years, on-demand media overtook traditional media as the way people like to get their entertainment, information, stay up to date on stuff. So yeah, it's you guys are like this hybrid show.
Yeah. So there's nothing like it. There's nothing like Mornings in the Lab. It's a morning show experience for men, positive conversation, inspiring conversation. And Keith and Johnny lead it every single day. And we got our buddy Marty here who's just figuring out some life situations right now. So he's in and out of the show here. But yeah, we get after Monday to Friday, 8:00 Eastern time. And Johnny, I'll tell you, when we first started the show, nobody showed up. Now on regularly, we have anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 people a week showing up on the show. So
it's really good that you say that, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to start a podcast and it's going to be this mega hit right away. And it's like, no, if you're not already famous or have the backing of an entity like the New York Times or something like that, it's hard to build an audience. And being consistent and being consistent, but also having like hey, we're here every day. This is
that work in the dark when nobody's looking can be having the nuts to do it before anybody shows up.
Yeah, doing it because you love it, and that becomes infectious, and then people start. The best thing you can have happen is an audience member say, "You should come check out this show." It's not putting it on advertising like on Instagram or buying stickers and handing them out. It's having people say, "You should check out this show. I love it. Here's why."
Yeah,
I think you'll love it. Go check it out.
I appreciate that, Floyd. And I appreciate that because it's happening here on the show.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And and this is not about us. It's about you, Johnny. You got to rock and roll. I see you looking at the clock.
You got to cut me loose. It was a pleasure to meet you, brother.
Nice meeting you too, man.
All right,
you got it.
Andersen,
have a good loop. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Enjoy your weekend, okay, pal?
You got it, brother.
Oh yeah, happy weekend.
All right, Anderson's going to get out of here. I'm going to continue the show here with Johnny Flores. You're here with Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys get your ass out of bed. The hybrid experience, on demand, live, 8:00 Eastern, live, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. And I got my buddy Johnny Flores here. He's co-hosting with me for the next few minutes here. Nice. Flores is a dude. You're turning 50 soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. When?
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Are you?
Yeah. I think it's getting older is a blessing. Like and I just mean that in a general term. I'm not a religious person, but just like it's amazing.
I mentioned it earlier in the show that I'm finding myself. I hit 53 this year, Flores, and I'm enjoying. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm enjoying attacking some of maybe the stress that comes up because I know how to deal with it. Like I'm just not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm just okay.
Yeah, I'm a lot more I try to be anyways, calm about situations.
Yes.
And not, I mean, I have to actively be like, hey, don't react. Like someone's being a jackass in traffic or something like that. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Life. They're stuck being that idiot. So
let's talk a little bit about your business, my friend. So here's what. So let me tell you what drew me to you. I found you on LinkedIn. Loved your content. Love how you put yourself out there. I'm curious, obviously, because the business that I'm growing and like, this is my product. So and it's live and they're doing a different thing here. But Johnny, you started podcasting as a hobby.
Yep.
What was one hilarious mistake? Because there's folks starting right now that when you look back on it, you're like, holy fuck, really? Like, share with the audience, let's get the conversation started. What was one hilarious mistake from those early days that you look back on right now and you're like, oh my God, really?
There's two that stand out.
Yeah.
One is I had bought a MacBook Pro laptop.
Yeah.
This was like 2011, 12, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And at the time, it was the MacBook at that time had a standard plug-in, a 3.55 millimeter jack that was like headphones and microphone.
Yeah.
So I had been recording episodes with that, and then my MacBook took a crap on me, so I took it back. They replaced it with the new version, and I didn't realize the headphone and mic port was now just a headphone port.
Oh,
So, and this was right when I launched my new show that got me like my career going. And so my first probably 20 episodes, I bought all this new equipment and I was plugging it into the wrong thing. So like the first 20 episodes were just crap. They sounded terrible. And then part of that was I had reached out to this artist named Mel Ramos, who has now since passed, and
yeah.
he was part of that pop culture or pop art uh, scene, and he. So I'd reached out to his daughter, and she was like, "Yeah, I would love to have my dad on your podcast. Do you mind coming down here to the Bay Area to record it?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Sure, no problem. If I get to meet
Uh-oh.
this guy, this is great." And so I brought my dad with me. We went down to his house that overlooked the Bay Area. You could see the Bay Bridge on one side, the Golden Gate Bridge on the
Nice.
other.
Nice.
This amazing house. He told these funny stories about Pamela Anderson stiffing him on a painting that she commissioned, and just like kind of a lawsuit he got involved in because he used a photo of Claudia Schiffer that was taken by a paparazzi when she was sunbathing topless, and they got him.
Yeah.
He got sued over that. Just telling all these. Me and him got into an argument, not an argument, but just like a heated debate about like art and what representation and stuff like that. And it was just a great conversation. And it was the last one where I realized I've been doing this the wrong way the entire time. I was like,
oh no.
Man. So I never published his episode, and I kept meaning to. And he signed a book for me. He gave me a book that wasn't even out. It was like an advanced copy of like his art book, like of his career. He signed it for me, and I still have that. And then I was like, okay, next year I'm going to do it. Next year I'm going to do it. Next year I'm going to do it. And then eventually he passed, and I never did it. I was like,
how embarrassing.
He didn't know. I wrote his daughter.
You knew. You went to the whole thing with your dad in the back of your mind going, oh no, dude.
Yeah, so I tell people, especially when I do my workshops or like one-on-ones and stuff like that, I tell people like I got good at this by making every single mistake you could possibly make.
Yes, thank you for saying that. People are like, you do this live show? I'm like, yeah. And 2 days ago, the title of the show was "I Failed Publicly in Front of You," and true enough, during the show, all my tech failed. So Amy Reiner, one of my regular listeners, she sends me a text. She goes, "Oh, did you plan that?" I'm like, "No, fuck no. It just started failing on the show." But the funny thing,
so your topic was about failure, and you had a technical failure.
So the topic was I failed. I failed publicly, and here's why I'm glad it happened. Well, while I was doing the show, the technology was failing in real time. That I couldn't even finish the show. As a matter of fact, I came back later that morning with my son to do some testing, and one of my guests sent me a text going, "Oh, I thought that was part of the experience." I'm like, fuck no, it just happened in real time. But my point is progress over perfection. And so many folks try to get it right on day one. I'm like, no, it's, and here's what I've learned with doing this live thing, Flores, is that I only got 23 hours to get it right before the next day. When I made this commitment to you that I'm coming back tomorrow, well, I got to rush to get it right because I got to test it again the next morning. And man, that makes me better because I'm so committed to it. Right. So
yeah, I talk about this, and I do mentorship for freelancers and stuff like that too. And And I use this example. I had a major failure recently. Was it took a college system, college district had reached out to me about building a podcast studio for them.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've done that before, usually on a smaller scale. And I didn't realize how much oversight and red tape there is in this project. And what I normally, when my clients, sometimes it's like 3 months, 6 months, where they'll be like, "Hey, we have to go back to our board and get approval for to do the podcast stuff." I was like, I understand. Even sometimes it takes like 2 years of like, "Hey, they said they want to wait another 6 months," and I'm like, "All right, whatever." But this was like approved, and it still took 2 years to progress. And there was so much, one side telling me one thing, another side telling me another thing, and I didn't quote the project I should have doubled the fee that I quoted them at. I should have. I didn't, and it was a huge learning. Like I learned so much doing this about like, hey, now I know my business. I won't work with an organization like that again.
So I was going to say, like, what did you learn from that? Because we're both the same age, and we both have gone through life going, okay, I've learned something from that situation. Yep. Tell a listener right now who's tuning in, going, oh, okay, like what did you learn from that? Because I'm going to assume what you learned. But what did you learn?
I learned because I'm a sole proprietor that something that's like where it's a government agency or that has a lot of oversight probably isn't going to be a good partner because they have so many, and rightfully so, they have a lot of oversight so that they can show, hey, the public, we're responsibly spending money on stuff.
Yes.
But for a small business who doesn't normally deal with that type of stuff, it was a huge headache. I lost money on things like they required me to get workers' comp insurance.
Dude.
And I was like, well, if I get hurt, I'm not going to be able to pay the workers' comp insurance because I am the employee and the owner. So and so we went back and forth for like 4 months on that before they finally were like, okay, you don't have to get that. But I had to get all this other insurance. And at the time, we just had one car and I had a motorcycle, and they were requiring me to get insurance to come onto the campus to deliver stuff. And I was like, I can't get insurance on my motorcycle to do that because I will be renting a U-Haul truck because I can't haul all this equipment on my motorcycle. So then that was like another 3 months of back and forth. But finally they were like, okay, just bring it to our loading bay. And then we'll have our guys who do that stuff bring it over. I was like, why couldn't this be? And then, so I had to get all this like oversight insurance, which is fine. You know, because if I came on campus and somebody got hurt, I needed coverage. Or I was like, okay, I get that. So I had this for like several months before they were finally like, okay, you can do everything. I'm like, oh, sweet. Okay. So I start coming down, bringing stuff in. And then someone in there tells me, oh, you didn't need to get that till you were on campus. I was like, you guys know how much money this cost me over the course of 7 months? Like it cost me almost $7,000 to have this insurance, or more than that, actually. And I was just like,
that had no value and added no value to the situation.
Yeah, that was like a thing. I lost like a big chunk of money because of that.
I bet.
And then once we got things built, there was just poor communication. They weren't happy with some of the things that I installed.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys wanted this. You guys wanted all of this. And I built it the way you wanted. And they're like, well, we need it redone this way. I was like, okay, this is why this is why something that normally I would charge like 15,000 or 17,000 for, I should have charged 40 or 50.
I was just going to say you charge 50, 100%. And then if they can't afford it, like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Right. Well, they could have. They just had to go to their board.
Right. But it's one of those things where, you learn, and I've learned in time too. Hey, Roof, thanks for joining the show, brother. I see you. Talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out. Great lesson, Flores, superstores. I got a bolt, but great to hear you. Roof, I appreciate you hanging out with us in the show. You've been showing up every single day, man. I appreciate you. But Flores, you're right, man. I've been doing my journey in life with businesses too. And you learn long enough where if you want somebody's business, but maybe not want it bad enough, you just charge them a lot. And if they're going to say yes, like, okay, you got to make it their worthwhile.
So that's called so I learned that with my very first client. They were jerks. And as the scope of work progressed, they did what's called scope creep.
Yes,
if you're a freelancer, you know what scope creep is.
Yep.
And I had a mentor at the time who was like, if you get into a situation where a client is toxic, you hit them with if you want to work with them, you hit them with the asshole tax. And I was like, oh, okay. That's good to know. And what it is basically you jack the price up on them. And if you want to continue to work with them, you jack the price up more than you would normally, like way above like 10 or 12%.
Yes.
And then and it also helps them say no instead of you turning it down.
Yes.
They just say, oh, well, we can't afford this anymore. And you're like, all right, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
They were jerks. And that's what, and so I hit him. My girlfriend and I went on a trip to Ireland with my family, and I sent that off to them right before we left. I was like, cool, when I get back, they'll say no. And they did. But then they're like, yeah, no, we don't want to, that's too expensive. We don't do it anymore. I was like, cool, thanks. It's been great working with you guys. And then I was like, what do I do with their files? Like, how long should I hang on to them? So I have friends. I used to be a semi-professional illustrator, and I have a lot of friends who work in like graphic design and stuff like that. And so I reached out to several of them, and I was like, hey, what do you do with the files when a client doesn't want them anymore? And or you're not working with that client anymore. And they all said, if it's not built into the contract that they get the original files, you delete them right away. That's like cloud storage that you're paying for. I was like, okay, cool. So I deleted them 2 weeks, or no, this was like over about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I waited for my friends to respond, and across the board, everyone was like, you delete them. I was like, okay, cool. So I delete them, and like an hour later, I get an email from the host saying, hey, can we get our files? And I was like, I deleted them. You guys didn't ask, or I asked them an email saying, do you want anything from me? And they're like, nope. I was like, and you guys said you didn't want them. So I deleted everything. And so she wrote the owner, and he got on email and sent this horrible email about like, I'm going to badmouth you all over town. You did this maliciously and vindictively. And I wrote back, I was like, you do whatever you need to do. I have a great reputation. I have a really good, even before my business was up and running, through like my podcast and artistic endeavors. And, I just have a good reputation in town, and I earned it. And I was like, do what you need to do. That's your journey, whatever. And then I closed it with, however, P.S. However, if you had kindly asked for your files, I would have told them where you can go and find them online. You let me know what you want to do. And like 20 minutes later, I'm really sorry. Can we please, please help us find where the files are at? And I was like, sure, here you go. I was just like, okay. It taught me so much about red flags and how to recognize them super early, which now I do. I turned down, I had a meeting last year with this company, and there was it's co-owned, and they have one of them has an executive assistant, and she was just maniacally, like, or I shouldn't say maniacally, like sycophantically laughing at everything they said. And I was just like, okay, that's a red flag. Like, that's the kind of, like, they want people to like bow down to them and it's not authentic. Like, the behavior was not authentic to what was being said. I was like, okay, that's a red flag. And then we were in this room that they wanted to do the audio and video production in. That was like a converted industrial that had been, now it's this like hipster workplace that had a lot of concrete walls and glass. And there was these, like, you see them on Amazon's like a trap for podcasting equipment.
Yes.
And there's those like stick-on panels that are supposed to be like acoustic treatments.
Yes.
And they had those in a couple different spots in the room. And as we were talking, I was like, okay, well, I would also need to redo the room. If you want this to be the room, it needs to be redone. And like, I can hear we're in an echo chamber. This isn't going to be sufficient. I'm going to have to charge you a lot more to fix the audio, and it's still not going to be as good as it should unless I'll put in the contract. I'll quote you a cost to like redo the room. And one of them was like, no, my husband did this. I was like, oh, okay. Does he work in audio or video production? She's like, no, but he bought some stuff online and put it up. I was like, okay, so you don't want how it is now is fine for you? And they're like, yep. And I was like, okay, strike two. And then afterwards, I reached out to a friend who had previously worked there, and she was like, they're gonna come back and lowball you really, really bad. They do this all the time with all the artistic vendors, creative vendors that they work with. I was like, okay, let me see. I'll put a package together. Let me see what they do. And sure enough, like what I quoted them at, they came back at like 10% of that. And I was like, nope. Good call.
Yeah.
I knew it in my gut. And I was like, okay. So 2 days, I let a couple days go by, and I wrote back and I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. One of my existing clients wants to expand the work that I do for them. So unfortunately, I won't be able to work on your project. And they were like, they wrote back and said, well, is there anybody you can refer us to? I was like, no, all the people I know that I would count on to do a good job are tied up right now. I was like, I'm not gonna, in my head though, I was like, I'm not going to refer any of my colleagues to work with you. I'm not going to do that to them. I'm not going to throw them under the bus.
Hey, you're hanging out with Keith and Johnny Flores. Mornings in the Live with Keith and Friends. Good morning, good time. I see you there, brother. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And all week you hang out every single day, and I appreciate you and you as well. Amy Reinhardt, you hung out with us all day as well. I appreciate you hanging out with us and joining the conversation. And I know you'll be back on Monday. Amy, have a great weekend. You too. Good time. Hey, Flores, question for you. With podcasts hitting the big players, with layoffs hitting the big players and the industry changing, what are some surprising opportunities that you're seeing for smaller creators that are starting out today?
We're more nimble. That's the thing with, like, if you're a small team or like me, a sole proprietor, you're a lot more nimble,
Yeah.
and you can go get clients that a bigger organization would overlook because their budgets aren't, they might have 24 employees or bigger that they have to, have on payroll. So they're going to go after bigger projects. And so someone like myself or a lot of my colleagues that I know, we can work on smaller teams or be like a downstream contractor for a bigger project. So we're a lot more nimble. We also don't have to worry about like being bought out or like that kind of uh, hostile takeover situation. Like, that happened. Or I don't want to say they were hostile, but there was a lot of medium-sized companies that were growing bigger that got just swallowed up by like Amazon, which Wandery was independent and they got bought out by Amazon, and then they overextended themselves on like bigger podcasters, and then when those didn't pan out the way they thought, they ended up having, we saw it last year, just there was like a scythe just knocking down people. They were just letting people go left and right. So it's some big names in podcasting too, like behind the scenes got lost their jobs.
You mentioned, so AI is around us. AI is everywhere. Tools are everywhere. How are you using AI with your products? And what's the coolest or weirdest way that you're seeing AI used in podcast production?
Well, you can see it on, there's a lot more AI assisted EQing. So like Descript is a really good program that is a DAW with a digital audio workbench that you can use for editing and EQing. And it has a thing called Studio Sound, which can bump up audio. Like I use that because, as I was saying earlier in the show, like, excuse me, a lot of my clients' guests are just on computer microphones.
Yes.
So I'll clean it up using different programs. Like there's one called RX11 that has some AI assisted stuff in it to clean up the audio. And then I could put it in Descript and it'll bump it up so it sounds significantly better. But like Adobe through Audition, they have, well, it's actually separate from Audition now, but they have a Adobe Podcast, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
It cleans up audio, but to me it sounds tinny and robotic. It doesn't sound good. But if you need it and you don't know what to do, it's a good starting area.
We use Descript here Descript is our main tool that we use for our show here. So
yeah, it's great.
It's great.
Then I also use ChatGPT I use it to help me write proposals for clients that are very detailed and specific to them, which used to take me days to put a proposal together. And now now I can use ChatGPT as an assistant to like help me refine this, bounce things off of me, and now I can get it done in like hours.
Yes.
So it's an important tool for me to like. I'm solo. I'm by myself. I'm in this room. This is our spare room.
I'm
here most of the day, and so it makes it easy for me to have clarity, a second voice, refinement, and stuff like that. And then I just keep refining it, and no matter what, it's always in the final thing I send to a client is me. I rewrite something, redo it. So it's an important tool for me. Some of my clients let me use it for writing their episode descriptions and finding SEO. I do it on my website. I use it for my website to like help me make my website more searchable, and with keywords and SEO stuff like that. So it's an important tool, and a lot of people, I guess, colleagues like myself who are freelancers, they're worried about it.
It's certainly a great tool. So listen, let's keep it rolling here. So I see your comments here, Jeremy. One of the big fans I'm a big fan here, Johnny, of a good tennis match. A good tennis match. A good tennis match is a good conversation. A good conversation goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. A bad tennis match is when one player is volleying the ball too much on one side of the net.
Unless you're a fan of that person.
A great tennis match is a great conversation back and forth. This is a fast-moving show. We got to rock and roll. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Rapid fire. Best podcast genre nobody listens to but should.
Genre?
Yes.
Ooh, that's hard. I mean, everybody's tastes their own. The true crime stuff is on fire all the time. I think narrative podcasts that are like storytelling, it's like Night Vale is a good example of like those types. I don't think people listen to those enough, where it's like good narrative podcast.
Funniest podcast mishap you've ever experienced?
Mishap? Oh, geez. I had on my old show, I had a person get up and leave because I was pushing back on them on some stuff, and they were like, I don't have to be here for this. And they just left. I was like, all right.
If your life was a podcast, what's the title?
Oh boy. Dogs Everywhere.
Nice. Comedy podcasts or true crime? What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, comedy. I love comedy podcasts.
Nice. Closing question for you, Johnny. If your life story was turned into a comedy podcast episode, what's the opening scene?
Oh boy. Me drunkenly running across I-5 in the middle of the night in Oceanside, California.
Nice. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith and Johnny here, Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends. We're wrapping up our segment with Johnny Flores from Flores Productions. Johnny, how can folks connect with you, find you, and work with you, Mr. Johnny Flores?
They can go to my website, florespodcastproductions.com, or can link up on LinkedIn. I'm not really on social media. I don't like it, so I'm not on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do tell quickly. What takes you away from social media?
Oh, I think it's I think for young people it's addictive and habit forming. We know it is. Yeah. I think it's very divisive because you get stuck in algorithm loops that show you what the algorithms want you to see. I think it's very divisive and fairly toxic. So I've gotten it out of my life.
Yeah, I can hear you. That's a discussion for another day. Jeremy Baker, have you seen DaVinci Resolve? I have. I've used it a little bit. Flores, have you used DaVinci Resolve? Great tool.
Oh yeah, it's great for editing. In fact, for podcasting too. DaVinci Resolve, I'd say don't get Premiere if you're on a budget.
Yes,
if you're on a tight budget, you don't have the money. Definitely go get DaVinci. It's a great free program, and then later you can upgrade to it or try like Descript or Audition. But DaVinci Resolve is a great free program. So is if you're just working in audio, Audacity. It's free. It works on PC. It works on Mac. That's how I got started. Another tool I recommend people get to clean up audio is RX11, Isotope RX11. It costs, there's a lower version that costs like $150. It's a good way to try it out. And then there's an upgraded version. I think it's like about 200, but they usually drop the price around major holidays. And once you're in it, the new updated version is they'll knock it half off. So
we got Peaches joining us from some final comments here. If you missed the start of the conversation, we were talking about male and orgasmia. We were talking about sex lives and so forth. And we had our guest. We have a regular listener, Peaches, joining us here today. And and Peaches' partner wants to have more sex with Peaches, and Peaches is able to. She's battling some chronic illnesses and so forth, and her partner wants it all the time. Flores, do you have any advice for Peaches? She's asking me right now. She's like, hey, what's your advice for me, Johnny? We all remember my topic. So Johnny Flores, advice for Peaches. Partner wants more than Peaches can offer.
So she doesn't have to do shit. He needs to have some empathy and realize she's living with a chronic pain issue and needs to grow the fuck up and be a good partner and not put pressure on her. And that's going to make her in turn, when she does feel like having sex, be more receptive and willing and be engaging and maybe be the one who initiates. So Peaches, your partner needs to grow the fuck up and get some empathy.
Peaches, there's your advice from our guest from Johnny Flores. Flores, I would imagine that you didn't have any idea when you got up today that one of the questions I would be asking you on the show here today was, what advice would you give Peaches whether she should sit on her partner's face or have sex with her partner or just tell her partner to grow the fuck up? And clearly you have given her partner some great advice today. And like I said, Flores, you would have had no idea when I invited you onto the show that would have been part of our conversation today.
I go around all the time. I just walk up and down the street in my neighborhood in the city, just being like, hey, does anybody need sex advice from a stranger, short little guys? No?
Johnny
Okay,
Flores
no.
Joining us from Sacramento, California today, the owner of Flores Podcast Productions. Johnny, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And thanks for the kind words about the show. I hope you'll tune into the show regularly. I'm looking forward to chatting with you later today. We're going to grab a little bit of a coffee. I want to share with you some of the vision. I want to learn more about you. And I'm going to work towards wrapping it up here. I got 9 minutes. I got a couple people to celebrate for the community corner.
Oh, awesome.
And we're going to get after it. I appreciate you, man. I do.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. This is a fun conversation, and it's awesome to see you got, dedicated listeners that keep coming back and your audience is growing. Like, congrats on that.
Thanks, man. We're doing things differently. There is not a show like this, I don't think, in the world right now. There's not one in North America. I would offer to you, and I'm only offering this to you because you're in the industry. I'm not suspecting that there is a man going to bed in North America right now who thinks 24 hours a day on how to create the greatest morning show conversation for men. And you're looking at him. And that's my purpose, man. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to create this incredible product that, I'm happy to talk about it later. I'm happy to share more with you later today. Okay, brother?
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Johnny. All right, Jimmy, let's get Flores out of here. Peaches, I see you. I see your comments. I love it. I love a good tennis match. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Boom, boom. All right. We're going to get after it. We're going to get to our creator spotlight, the community corner. I know my lovely wife is laughing right now behind the scenes. Oh, yeah. Just put the conversation with Peaches and everything else. I know she is. I just know it, Jimmy. I just know it. Jimmy, I see what we're getting to. Okay, you guys. Hey, listen, couple announcements for you guys. A few announcements. I got three of them. The first one. Working on a brand new segment I'm hoping to launch next week. Habit stack hacks. Yes, Keith and Johnny are going to give you guys something throughout the day. Hacks to stack habits. Because we know if we stack habits, we will get things done. Example, boil water when you're making eggs, go for a walk. Boil water when you're making eggs, meditate. Boil water while you're making eggs, I don't know, if I could make a social media post. So we're going to get to that next week. Tuesday, next week, myself and Nicole Bernard, we're relaunching business and branding. Nicole Bernard is coming back to the lab, and we're going to talk business and branding. We're going to talk entrepreneurship, and we're going to offer some business advice, branding advice, marketing advice coming out of the lab with Nicole Bernard coming up next week as well. And then Jimmy, the third one, I don't fucking remember, actually. Yeah, I know there's three things that I had to talk about, but there's I got two of them out there. And then Peaches, out yelling beautiful wifey. Yes. Peaches, peace to you as well. Okay. Oh, I know the third one. We're working on making our creator spotlight better. That was the third one. I got some ideas behind the scenes to increase the enjoyment level around our community corner, the creator spotlight segment of the show. Okay, Jim, we're going to the Substack side of things here. I got somebody in the Substack platform. You guys know we like to hang out in Substack, the only platform you own. And where you're not collecting followers, you're collecting email addresses. You're collecting people who want to read your content. You're collecting people that you want to engage with. Peaches, I hope I made y'all's day. I hope I made your day as well, Peaches. And I know you're showing up on the show because of Jimmy, right, Peaches? I know you're like, I got to go to the show because Jimmy's there behind the scenes pressing the buttons. I know you. Listen, some people choose productivity. The guy we're talking about right now chases this question behind the scenes. Why do we overthink? What's really driving our behavior? How do we raise kids with brains wired like ours when we're still figuring our own out? This guy's writing doesn't come from a textbook. It comes from lived experience. No, I'm not talking about Matthew Roof. He was on the show earlier today. No, this guy had a late ADHD diagnosis, parenthood, an obsession with what makes us tick, And instead of hiding the mess, this guy writes through it. Thoughtful, funny, sharp in the places that matter. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is excited and proud to introduce you to The Curious Detour and the voice behind it. This morning, we are introducing you to Mark. Yeah, Mark. Not Madonna, Mark. Yeah, true story. The guy's one name, Mark. If you've ever taken the long way to get to where you're going, not by accident, but by instinct, you're going to feel at home with Mark. So I would introduce you and I would invite you to go check out his Substack, The Curious Detour, and the voice, and go see what Mark has to say. You might be surprised. Mark, I love your content, man. And listen, Mark, we'd love to have you on the show, just so I can know what your last name is. Yeah, unless you like Madonna. But Mark, would love to have you on the show. Would love to celebrate somebody in your orbit. Would love to give you the Mornings in the Lab light and celebrate somebody for you in the Creator Spotlight Community Corner. Connecting folks on Substack, connecting folks through the power of live conversation over on LinkedIn. All right. Speaking of LinkedIn, let's get to our next one. Oh, there you go. I see that person's name. Yeah. You guys know what business is full of talk? It's talk. Did I say talk? Jimmy, was somebody talking here today? Was somebody talking for the last half an hour? Business is full of talk about systems, strategies, and scaling. And long talkers. And slow talkers, too. Jimmy. But underneath it all, it's still about people. Who trusts you. Who believes in you, who's willing to build with you when things get messy. Yeah, I'm just distracted, Jimmy. Good tennis match, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Or bad tennis match, talk, 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 talk. Most companies forget that. they focus on dashboards and deadlines. They lose the connection that makes everything else possible. Talk, 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 talk. But this creator hasn't forgotten. Nope. He knows the real work isn't just building better systems. No, it's building better relationships or better tennis matches or better conversations. Nation, I invite you to pause and be introduced this morning on our community corner, connecting LinkedIn to the power of live conversation. Guys, girls, introducing Jared Anders. Yes, Jared. Jared's the director of marketing at Vector X. Jimmy, what's with the X name, man? We had a guy from Kara X yesterday. We got Vector X today. Jared's also the co-host of the Boombox Boardroom podcast. Oh, yeah. The Boombox Boardroom podcast. Talk, 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 Jimmy. Talk, 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 talk. And he's the host of While You Were Pooping podcast. Oh, no comment on that one. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a future Santa. But Jared isn't just another marketing voice preaching numbers without heart. No, he's spent his entire career proving that when you put people first, everything else, revenue, growth, success, it gets stronger. Yeah. At Southwest Lineman Training Center, this guy helped drive a 75% increase in enrollment and over $6 million in new revenue. Not just because the strategy was smart, but because he knew how to have a conversation back and forth, Jimmy, not just one-sided. No, that wasn't in my notes. Today at Vector X, Jared helps companies use Salesforce. Jimmy, I love that I have a platform, man. I love that I have this platform, this one-way platform, because I can just speak freely. Jared helps companies use Salesforce the right way to strengthen human connection. And when he's not leading marketing or fixing messy CRM problems, he's hosting, Jimmy, conversations. Talk, 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 talk. That remind us how much better business sounds when we bring a little more joy, a little more humanity, and a lot less bullshit. So, nation, I invite you to go check out Jared Anders over on LinkedIn. He's the director of marketing at Vector X. He's also the co-host of the Boombox Boardroom and the host of the While You Were Pooping podcast. Jared, love to have you on my show, brother. Love to have you on the show to talk about shitting, talk about boom boxes, talk about marketing, all that kind of stuff. Truthfully though, Jared, love to have you on the show to hand you the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight so you can shine it on somebody in your world and we can continue paying it forward on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Whew. Jimmy, that was a sigh. That was a sigh of relief. Let me take you guys to the beginning. Got up today, had the show planned, had all the topics planned, had the guests planned, had everything ready to rock and roll. And then I get a good old message. Keith, how do I get in your show? I'm like, well, I've sent you 6 emails. Yeah, because you canceled once and we rescheduled. So there's 6 notes in your inbox that tells you how to get on the show. But Keith, can you send me the link to get on the show? No, I can't actually. But Keith, can we reschedule for Wednesday? No, we can't actually because we've already rescheduled twice. This is a fucking business, not a hobby. But Keith, I thought we were meeting later today. No, that was the post-show meeting. What am I laughing at, guys? We had a big show planned today, and then it all went sideways. So we made it up on the fly. Yeah, true story. You guys didn't even fucking know it. Yeah, another true story. But that's the power of live conversation with fun behind the scenes. And it's time to get out of here, Jimmy. We've had this 2 hours. Getting ready for the week. I know Rahima, if you're listening, I know you're ready for me. I'm going to get out of your way here today in the post-production. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit a certain button. I'm going to hit a certain button that sounds just like this. Yeah, that's the button right there. And that button, you know what a talk. A good old tennis match. Yeah, Jimmy, I'm going to go play some pickleball today. I'm going to stand on one side of the court, and I'm just going to hit the ball to myself. Yeah, I'm going to see how enjoying it is for everybody. It's funny because I was watching people leave the court as I was standing there hitting the ball to myself. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They keep leaving. Well, why are you guys leaving? Because I don't want to see you play with yourself. Oh, you don't want to see me play with myself? I thought you enjoyed me seeing me play with myself. No, you see, folks don't want to see people play with themselves. No, folks want to see you play with somebody else. So I would invite you, next time you're going to play with somebody. Don't play with yourself. Just saying. All right, Jimmy, let's get out of here, man. We got some work to do. We're going to get after it. Go Jets, go. Big game tonight. I'm hoping I'm coming back on Monday, Jimmy. talking about going to round 2 in the playoffs instead of crying. So Monday could be a good day or a bad day, but much is going to happen in the next 2-3 days before the morning loop on Monday. So on behalf of Jimmy, Johnny, Lady Drew, Matthew Roof, Amy Reinhardt, Lauren, who else we got here today? Good Time, Holroyd, Peaches, Jeremy Baker, holy smokes, Gannick. Wow, Jimmy, we got a lot in the show today. Jay, to everybody who showed up, I appreciate all of you guys. This show is nothing with all of you. We're going to get out of here on behalf of Jimmy and myself. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, they're all gone, Jimmy, because talk.